Russian warships furiously attack an American aircraft carrier. April 2025. The dark North Atlantic, not a single star in sight. On the water's surface, the pride of American naval power, a 100,000-ton nuclear-powered aircraft carrier, escorted by destroyers and submarines, glides silently through the waves. With 5,000 sailors aboard, it seems like just another routine night of vigilance, a patrol far from home. Can this iconic American ship withstand this three-pronged assault? Or will this be the moment that shakes history? Join us as we step into the heart of the most dramatic naval battle of this century. But in Moscow, a different plan is unfolding. Suddenly, radar detects the first signals. 30 Russian cruise missiles are launched from warships, another 20 from submarines. And in the air, a swarm of 50 suicide drones carrying explosives. This is one of the largest coordinated naval attacks of the century. A three-pronged assault aimed straight at the heart of the U.S. Navy. For veterans and Americans watching from afar, the message is clear. This is not just an attack on a ship, but a challenge to America's supreme status. And the response will shape what happens next. At 4:30 in the morning, the calm waters of the North Atlantic carry the massive shadow of an American carrier strike group. The 100,000-ton nuclear-powered aircraft carrier cuts through the waves like a steel fortress. Its deck is packed with F-35C fighter jets' radar systems scanning the horizon. To the sailors aboard, everything seems like a routine patrol until alarms shatter the silence. Within seconds, intelligence confirms the unthinkable. "30 Russian cruise missiles have just been launched from warships. The deadly warheads streak through the sky at supersonic speeds. Beneath the surface, a Russian submarine fires another 20 cruise missiles erupting from the depths with terrifying precision. And in the air, radar screens light up with dots. 50 suicide drones carrying explosives move like a pack of hunting wolves. This is no random attack. It's a carefully coordinated strike. A multi-layered assault designed to overwhelm the defenses of the most powerful navy on Earth. Missiles from the sea, missiles from below, and drones from above. A three-pronged blow aimed at America's pride, the aircraft carrier. If they think they can break the backbone of the U.S. Navy, they're gravely mistaken, says Admiral Jonathan Reynolds. U.S. Navy. With 5,000 sailors aboard, the mood shifts from calm vigilance to survival mode. Alarms blare, sailors rush to battle stations, and every weapons system locks on to the incoming storm. The captain's voice booms over the intercom. All hands brace for impact. This is not a drill. The night sky, once quiet, now blazes with streaks of fire. In that moment, the American carrier strike group becomes the focal point of one of the largest missile attacks in modern naval history. Faced with this sudden and massive assault, do you think the U.S. Navy has enough time to stop it? The first wave of Russian missiles streaks across radar, glowing on screens like daggers aimed at the carrier. But the U.S. Navy is prepared for this nightmare. Within seconds, America's multi-layered defense shield springs into action, unleashing a symphony of firepower designed to neutralize threats at every altitude and range. At the outer layer, Aegis destroyers deploy SM-6 interceptor missiles, hypersonic defense weapons, traveling at nearly Mach 3.5. One by one, they lock onto and shred incoming Russian cruise missiles, detonating them in blinding explosions that light up the night sky. In less than 2 minutes, over 20 incoming warheads are destroyed before they can get close to striking range. But the attack isn't over. From beneath the surface, submarine-launched missiles climb higher, closer, more dangerous. That's when the second layer of defense kicks in. Evolved Sea Sparrow missiles launch from vertical tubes on the carrier's escorts, neutralizing the underwater-launched missiles with deadly precision. The sea shakes as burning metal fragments rain into the black water. Above the carrier, laser defense systems track the swarm of suicide drones. Each focused energy beam burns through wings and fuselages, sending UAVs crashing into the sea like smoking debris. For the drones that get closer, CIWS Gatling systems open fire, their 6 barrels spinning at 4,500 rounds per minute, turning the night sky into a wall of fiery bullets. Sailors on deck describe the sound as a metal storm. Yet numbers matter. Of the 50 drones, 48 are destroyed before reaching the carrier. 2 break through. They slam into the ship's stern, exploding into fireballs that shake the massive vessel. The blasts tear through steel plates on the deck, leaving 3 sailors critically injured and 5 others burned or hit by shrapnel. The ship stands firm, but the shock is undeniable. Russia has drawn American blood. But if the Kremlin thinks this will break America's will, they're wrong. Even as medics rush to treat the wounded, orders echo across the fleet, prepare to counterstrike. In moments, launch bays open. American drones carrying precision-guided bombs take off their engines, roaring as they form swarms. On the sea, American fast-attack craft power up, ready to retaliate with devastating speed. Russia's attack failed to sink the carrier. Now the full wrath of the U.S. Navy is about to be unleashed. Before America's razor-sharp counterattack begins, subscribe and like to support our channel. Now join me at the heart of the battle. The flames from the drone explosions haven't yet faded when the carrier's commander issues an order that shakes the fleet counterattack with everything we've got. From the carrier's deck and escort ships, 80 American micro-drones swarm into the night sky. Each carries a 15-pound precision warhead, small enough to evade radar, but powerful enough to rip through steel. Flying in chaotic swarms of 10, they split into 8 separate waves, overwhelming Russian defenses. Within 7 minutes, over 40 Russian radar arrays and missile launchers are destroyed, leaving their ships blind and defenseless. Then comes the second blow. 30 American fast-attack unmanned boats, each carrying 500 pounds of explosives, charge at nearly 60 knots. It's not the number of weapons, but the precision, timing, and coordination that turn the tide. On Russian frequencies, the humiliation grows. Captains frantically call for evacuation. Gunners fire wildly into the dark, hitting nothing. One Russian officer sends a final transmission over an open channel. "We can't hold. The fleet is gone." For the Americans, this is affirmation. Their carrier was attacked, sailors wounded, but their response leaves no doubt. The ocean belongs to the U.S. Navy, and the Russian fleet, once proud of its strength, is now just burning steel and broken voices echoing across the sea. By dawn, the North Atlantic is no longer a battlefield. It's a graveyard. The once proud Russian strike group, just hours ago launching 100 weapons in a ferocious attack, is now wreckage. The sea is littered with twisted steel burning oil and the cries of the desperate. Of 8 major warships and dozens of support vessels, only 3 remain afloat, all crippled, burning, and leaderless. The rest have been sunk, torn apart by American firepower. U.S. reconnaissance later confirms over 600 Russian sailors killed, over 400 wounded, and at least 200 captured. Many are pulled from the freezing waters by American helicopters. The survivors are disarmed, shivering, as they realize the empire that sent them has abandoned them. The scene on deck tells a story of total collapse. Russian prisoners wrapped in thermal blankets stand in lines under guard. Some bow their heads in silence. Others shout angrily at officers who fled or died. A few weep openly. For those promised glory, the humiliation is unbearable. For the American side, the message is clear. Discipline and coordination defeated chaos and arrogance. The U.S. Navy didn't need endless barrages, just the right weapons fired at the right time by perfectly trained sailors. 12 missiles from a submarine, 4 helicopters with 20 SEALs, 80 drones, 30 fast attack boats. Together, this carefully coordinated counterattack obliterated an entire Russian strike group in under 2 hours. As the carrier strike group regroups, damage control teams repair the ship's stern. The wounded 3 sailors critically injured and 5 with burns or shrapnel wounds are stabilized by Navy medics. The carrier, though attacked, remains operational, its runway ready for flights. The symbol of American naval power is unbroken. It endured and then delivered justice. For Washington, the images streaming back home are staggering. The nation sees Russian ships burning like torches. Their men rescued not as warriors, but as prisoners. Veterans watching from living rooms recognize the echo of history. When America is struck, it rises stronger. Ultimately, the battle isn't just about missiles and warships. It's about will. Russia gambled everything on a massive attack and lost it all. America proved that courage, training, and unity still ruled the seas. And for the millions of older Americans watching, many who lived through the Cold War, the conclusion is clear. The Navy remains the Republic's shield, and no enemy can break its will. The night began with shock and anger. Russia threw 100 weapons, 30 cruise missiles, 20 submarine-launched missiles, and 50 suicide drones at an American aircraft carrier. Their goal was to humiliate, even destroy. But by dawn, the story had flipped. The U.S. Navy's layered defenses held firm. The carrier, though shaken and scarred, sailed on. And the Russian fleet, once boasting strength, was reduced to wreckage, smoke, and silence. What shocked the world wasn't just the destruction of warships, but the numbers. 600 Russian sailors dead, 400 wounded, 200 captured. An entire fleet wiped out in minutes by precise American counterstrikes. 12 Tomahawk missiles from below the sea, 4 helicopters with 20 SEALs, 80 drones, 30 fast attack boats. A simple formula executed with perfect coordination. This wasn't just technology. It was discipline training and the unbreakable spirit of a Navy that refuses to yield. For the families of the wounded sailors, the cost is real. 3 critically injured, 5 hurt. A reminder that freedom and strength are never free, but their sacrifice is proof. America's defenders are willing to risk everything to ensure no enemy attack succeeds. And for Russia, the humiliation is total. They hoped for victory. Instead, they became a cautionary tale, a reminder that arrogance on the seas leads only to destruction when facing America's steel shield. For every audience, especially those who remember the long nights of the Cold War, this battle is proof that America still stands tall. Our Navy still guards the oceans. Our will remains unbroken, and when challenged, we will always strike back harder, faster, and stronger. If you value this analysis and believe in sharing the truth, support our channel. Like, comment, and let us know. Do you believe the U.S. Navy remains the invincible guardian of the oceans? Your voice matters.